Hi, I'm Simon from Sailing Britain, and we help people find fun and adventure by becoming confident sailing cruisers. In the last video, me and my good friend Len, while we were sailing down from the Caribbean to here in sunny America, we discussed the pros and cons of monohulls and catamarans. In the last video, we talked about livability. In this video, we're going to talk about usability, comfort of sail, and speed. And everyone thinks a cat's faster. We're also going to talk about which boat is safer and which is easier for setting sails and trimming. Keep watching!
Now let's talk about going on a dock.
Yes.
Or a slip or a fuel dock or any of those things.
Yes.
I would hands down rather drive my cat to a dock in and out than a monohull. With a good bow thruster, okay, but you've got prop walk issues and things like that, which if you know how to use them, you can take advantage of them, and you should know how to use them so that you can take advantage of them. This closed, slow maneuverability, a cat's got to be the easier thing to drive.
You let me drive your old boat, and I found it so easy.
I think it takes more practice and more skill to get good at it in a monohull, and it's easier and quicker to learn in a cat. Just for record though, what I do in close quarters is I'll lock the wheel, lock those rudders centered, and just drive it with the helm controls. You just don't need any more than that. I don't think there's much difference. I mean, if you're driving through a harbor, it can be a little easier if you want tight space control, because the helm control's on a cat versus what you've got. But I mean, you got a bow thruster. Honestly, I'd call it a draw.
The advantages of a monohull is it's all on one level. You're looking straight down and you can see it. Sometimes on a cat, you're up high, or on some cats, they have the helm spaces further back.
Right, I can see that as a disadvantage.
Maybe you got microphones you can speak to.
You do that. My new cat's got an elevated helm, so I have excellent visibility. So from that point of view, it's nice. I can sit up there and I can really see what's going on out front.
Mooring board on Britain, I find it relatively easy. Even in fairly strong winds, you're just going up. I'm watching Kim at the bow, and as long as I can see it right close to the bow of the boat, when she ducks down, I'm there to stop. I
would probably say it might be a little easier on a monohull. You're going for a single point. It's not hard to get to that single point. You're not having to run, I mean, in my case, I'm 28 feet wide. So it's from outside cleat to outside feet, 14 feet each way. So you have to grab it in the middle, run a line over this side, run a line to that side. It's a little more challenging. Mono, you go to one point. Yeah, you still may have to run two lines. Well, you should run two lines.
Yeah, you should run two.
You're not having to travel as far across the deck. So honestly, I think in mooring balls, monos win. I'm not talking about better or worse, just different.
Just different. Just different.
Visibility issues. I mean, I love the visibility I have from way up there.
Can you see all four corners?
I can see the front two immediately, and I have to peek over the back, but I can see all four.
With a monohull, it's so easy because all the deck is all on one level.
We've only got two corners.
Yeah,
sort of. You got a triangle.
Okay, so we're going to talk about sailing.
Well, it depends on the sea state and your angle. You know, there's more stability, right? And we just simply don't heel, at least not very much, a few degrees. You're not having to pack everything away. Make sure that you're not going to be hitting 12 degrees, 15 degrees, that kind of thing. So you've certainly got a level of comfort. And people seem to think that they get less seasick on a cat. So let's talk about you on a beam reach.
Okay, beam reach.
With a full-on beam wave, and you've got a nice steady position, and you are straight, and you're not. When you're going up, you're going down, but it's fairly consistent. Is that right? Yeah,
beam reach for me is my favourite point of sail. Right. We have a little bit of a heel, all depends on how much I pull the main in. If I spill it, we're almost flat, and then the wave is hitting me on the side, and it just goes up, and then down, up, and then down. And I think, even though that's your sweet spot for a catamaran, I think...
For the wind angle,
Yeah, for a wind angle. But for the motion, I think it's much more preferable on a monohull on a beam reach.
I won't argue. That's really wave angle more than it is wind angle, but they obviously tend to come in concert quite often.
Hard up on the wind when the wind is close to the bow. We can then get closer to the wind, but we are then really heeled over. We are then pounding and crashing, and I find it very uncomfortable. It looks spectacular, it feels spectacular, and I think it's great. For an hour or two, it's great. I love it. Right. But after that, I'm getting a bit bored of it, and the boat's crashing. You're trying to go downstairs, and you're hanging on, you're in the bathroom, and your contortionist trying to go to the toilet.
Depending on the sea size, obviously, and the period, is obviously going to affect the motion. I'm going to be doing a little of this, but the whole boat is generally more stable. And you get into an 8-foot sea or a 10-foot sea, you can start to teeter a little bit and you're going to feel it somewhat, but still you're not going to have the same bouncy ride that you're going to have.
But
right?
do you get a bit of hobby horsing?
If I'm going into it, I mean, the longer the boat, the better. My old 40 would definitely, you know, and it was tiring. The new boat's 50 feet, much more stable. So stern quarter is just plain old fun. Stern quarter around to the back, surfing. I mean, as long as you're not coming in too steep. But yeah, I mean, I find that quite enjoyable, but then who doesn't like a following seat?
It's like slow down in there.
Yeah.
I would say that it would be a lot more comfortable on a catamaran than on a monohull.
I think so.
You've got the twin hulls which balance you out a little bit more, where mine is a bit more angled, where yours will be a bit less angled on that.
It's in any of those seas, being in the galley.
Ooh, being in the galley.
In here.
Yes.
I have cooked quite a few breakfasts on this boat.
Yes.
Yep. And I can tell you, I've been cooking like this, braced. It's a good thing you have a gimbaled stove.
I can't argue with you on that one.
No. And now you've also got, at least on the new one, I got lovely windows all the way around. So you're not going to be quite susceptible, I think. If you're in there working, you're not going to be quite susceptible. If you do get seasick, it's not going to affect you as badly when you've got that kind of visibility.
Here we go. This is
everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
Other than money.
You get where the catamarans are faster than monohulls. That all depends on the monohull you buy, and it all depends on the catamaran you buy. I would love to have a pound for every time a cat owner has said, let's have a race because I'm going to beat you. In 8 years, I've been beaten twice. All to do with a weight issue. You know, you put too much weight on a catamaran. If you get a 48-foot boat comes out of the factory, and then we sail, I don't think I'd beat it.
Right. Completely empty and light.
Empty and light. But as soon as you put all your food on it, all your water on it, your fuel on it, all the stuff to do living on it, they are so much more susceptible to weight.
I think it may have had more of an effect too with the older boats because you had narrower hulls. So the buoyancy wasn't, they were thought to be sleek and fast, but they didn't have the same buoyancy.
Yeah.
So you could easily overweight something with a narrow hull. Now the more modern cruising cats, maybe some of them aren't that fast, but they do have a lot more buoyancy. They're a lot wider, so they're going to be less susceptible to that type of effect.
You know, you're talking about the Ultramares and all that, like that's a different boat. An Ultramare against a gunboat. Right. Yeah, I'm going to wave goodbye.
A fat cruising cat? No, not necessarily. No. You have to compare to sailing angles.
Yep.
When we start to try and pinch. So I might, even if I'm a little faster off the wind, you've got 10 degrees advantage on me. So if we're going to wind, I'm going to have to be faster than you just to even be able to keep up to you.
Yes.
Because I can't make the same cut that you can make.
So what Len is saying there, that where the wind is coming from, I can sail much closer to the wind because we're a monohull and we can pull the sails in nice and tighter and we can get that nice angle, where a catamaran can't. Other than if you have dagger boards and
drop heels.
But then you're talking a lot more money.
That's right.
But we'll go into money later. Also, sailing downwind. How about that?
I can boogie pretty good sailing downwind. If you run around dead downwind, you've got to take a full-size spinnaker, right? And while that might be ideal on a cat, I can still get away with an ASIM and run it off to one side and still run a pretty tight downwind run. Yeah,
with an asymmetrical, I can't run straight downwind.
Right.
I have to go off wind. But with a symmetrical, I can run straight downwind.
Right. And we can both go wing on wing if we want to.
Yes.
Which I really like doing. It's personally a lot of fun.
I've got a twin pole system here, and if I'm running straight downwind, which we've been doing on this trip, is that I just pull it out, and it really works really well. And beam reach. That's where cats probably have their advantage, especially if the conditions like we're here, nice and flat and calm. That's their sweet spot.
Mind you, this thing goes quite well in the beam reach.
Yeah, no, I don't know why. I don't know why it beats other 56s on the beam reach. I will put her up against any medium to big size catamaran.
I've been on this thing when we blew right by a Leopard 46 in the Grenada Regatta.
We did.
We did. We passed him like I wouldn't say he was standing still, but I don't think he had a pleasant look on his face as we went by.
and we were only a minute and a half behind an Atlantic 55.
That's true.
Over the whole race.
Yeah.
Speed. Please don't let the salesman tell you that catamarans or monohulls are faster than the other, unless you're talking about the high performance catamarans. I think that's what we need to say about that.
Well, we might agree to disagree on that. To be settled in a future episode of Cat versus Mono. Setting sails, trimming sails, well, I mean, you got to learn that for every boat, no matter what you do, right?
Yeah.
You're going into wind to put up your main, you're falling off and putting out your head sail. It's the same.
Yeah.
Different options for trimming. Like you said, you got a pole system. I don't. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm running 120 degrees. I need a barber hauler to take my sail out to really catch advantage of
What's a barber hauler? Can you explain?
Okay, so we will run an extra block to a cleat, and then pull the sheet for your head sail. So you're actually pulling your head sail out.
Yes.
Right, as opposed to running it to the cars that are on there. And if you're running downwind, like for me at 90, I don't need it. By the time I get to 120 degrees, I need to really open up that head sail to take advantage. And they can pull a full knot out of that easy.
With Catamarans, they're all slab reefed, which is the same as this boat. I believe a friend of ours is actually putting a boom furler on a catamaran, and I don't know. He's one of the first to do it.
I don't know. I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've never worked with one. I couldn't.
Yeah, I've never worked on a boom furler, but that's what's happening. Where you get quite a lot of monohulls have in mass furling, and that's an advantage for ease of use, because you can do it from the cockpit. You don't have to go out towards the mast, which you do on Britican.
Yeah.
I personally like this system because I can get a better sail shape, but a lot of people are just more into nice easy sailing and nice convenience.
He said my main halyard comes back to my cockpit. I don't have to go to the mast. So
Yep.
she comes right up from there.
Yeah,
Right.
I could do that, but I don't want to, because I'm going to have lots and lots of lines in here.
Fair enough.
And it's just a personal preference.
Yeah.
There's no real advantages or disadvantages. It all depends on the boat you have. I think.
agree.
Yeah. So a massive one is safety.
Of course.
And the amount of times people have gone, I want to buy a catamaran because it's safer, drives me insane.
It depends on the captain and how well they know their vessel. That's the biggest factor.
Okay, well, let's say we've got brand new boats and they've just come off the factory floor, and they're all well maintained and everything.
Fair enough. Well, cat's naturally buoyant. Does not have any ballast. It will float all by itself. Where you got tons and tons of lead hanging off the bottom of your butt. So now there's advantages and disadvantages to that.
The two right there is. Listening to certain salesmen, they will say cat is safer and a monohull is safer.
Depends what they're selling.
Depends what they're selling. Yeah. We have this big heavy weight at the bottom of us because we heel over, it then counterbalance, because it's like works like an aircraft wing. So we have a wing under the floor, which under the water, and we have the big wing up there, which is the sails. We can really heel over, where if you do that in the catamaran, it's catastrophic.
That's right.
You have two holes. If one floods, you're going to still probably float.
Still float.
Yeah,
that's right.
Where if we flood ours, we're potentially going to sink.
Right.
But these boats will float with a lot of water in there.
Production cats have got a lot of airtight pockets and natural buoyancy spread out throughout the hulls.
Right.
So even if you puncture one hull, it's likely not to go down. It will dip. The other one will stay floating. You know, on a proper, well-designed boat.
Yep.
So our cat's unsinkable. Well, I don't know about that. You know, but if they're a lot less likely if you put a big hole in one side of it to go down.
I've got two waterhead bulkheads on this boat, so if I hit something, which is the most likely position to hit something, is on the bow, where the anchor locker is, I've got a watertight door. Then if that penetrates through there, I've actually got another watertight bulkhead. I've got a door which is watertight, and you can look it up.
Okay.
So that's an optional extra on this boat.
Fair enough.
And the person who bought it did that, which I'm quite happy about. You know, so
both of my boat lockers are separated as well from the rest of the boat. So
I think all boats have to do that. Anyway,
it just makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. The old adage is, you always see a catamaran and it's upside down. Yeah, but you don't see a monohull because it's on the bottom. Yeah. So let's talk about capsize, which is a favourite of monohull people that go up against catamaran. You see catamarans upside down, the hulls are facing up.
But do you?
No. Yes, you do. But when was the last time you saw one of those? I can't remember the last time I saw one of those.
Exactly. Not by somebody sailing. You have to really work at it. You need to really screw up to flip that boat.
You do.
Right? You've got rigging. You got rigging that's supposed to come away. And you've got all kinds of features to keep it. And it does take a lot to flip over a big vessel.
Yeah, and I call it sailing by numbers.
Absolutely.
And a catamaran owner will go, right, what's the wind going to be today? the wind is going to be gusting 25. All right, what's it gusting? So it's gusting 25. What do I have to reef at?
Right.
I have to have one reef in the main, and I have to have two reefs in the headsail, or whatever they're saying. And I call it sailing by numbers.
Right.
Well, I do sailing by feel, because a monohull, I could put full sail out at 25 knots. It's going to be probably a bit of an uncomfortable sail, but I could do that. And if anything happens, I get a gust, a big gust, even a 30 knot gust, I can just go there and just spill the main. The boat will lean over, suddenly I spill the main, and it's not a problem. Where if you don't sail by your numbers, it can be a little bit more.
It can, well, yeah, you can certainly damage things and be unsafe. So sailing by the numbers. I mean, every catamaran will come right from the manufacturer with their suggested chart. You know, follow this or else is written on it.
Yeah.
Mine's probably got 6 different positions of various reefing with head sail and rates down to 35% of the sail out, pretty much a handkerchief, and right up to 40 something knots. I can't do what you do. I can't go, oh, look at that, I'm starting to heel, I can really feel it, the wind's coming, and I can spill some. Best I can do is turn up, reef quickly if I need to. I can sheet out, obviously, spill the wind that way. Yeah. If I see a heavy day coming and I'm running down, I'm not going to have a mainsail out, or I'll have a very small one. And then, of course, you see gusting to 25. Well, we know that probably means 30.
Because this is a big, heavy boat. It gusting to 30 knots. I'm aware of it, but I'm not that worried about it. I'm quite happily going along, and I'm just checking out the weather and looking for any little squalls coming around. So for me, that's a big thing for me. That's why I like sailing Monohulls rather than sailing on a Catamaran.
But once you learn how to sail your cat, and you get used to it, and you know what your boat's capable of, and you know what it should be at, and you get used to those numbers.
Yeah,
you know, you're fine.
Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah, thanks for watching. In our next video, Len and I will be talking about redundancy, lightning, aesthetics, and cost. And we'll give our final conclusion about the debate on monos and catamarans. Thank you. Bye.